Now here's the project for the next 5 years. And this is, I'm really determined to see if we can make this happen. The thing that's been lacking in community development, there's lots of things been lacking in community development, but this is really a key one. And that is that there's been no concerted advocacy around community development solutions, with one exception. And the one exception is the organization around forging community reinvestment agreements. And I'm proud to say this goes back to my good friends John Atlas and Phyllis Saloke, because New Jersey is known for wrenching the strongest concessions out of banks for reinvesting into urban neighborhoods than any state in the country. And that has really been important for urban neighborhoods and for community development. But besides that, there's been almost no advocacy around community development solutions. So the state government, just does some kind of highly publicized subsidized housing developments, and city governments kind of promote the same sort of thing. But the type of neighborhood work that we're talking about, and it's really critical now because those neighborhoods are cycling down, doesn't have the advocacy behind it. And if you're going into community development today and you want to really make a difference, well, there needs to be advocacy and there needs to be organization around the ideas. Just some great professionals working in different departments and different community development organizations is not going to do it. So, for all of you here that are part of the young community development professionals, I want to sign you on to my project to create an advocacy organization that backs up the systemic change that community development needs to have real impact in urban neighborhoods.
What is your favorite protest song?
It's got to be "This Land Is Your Land."
What's your favorite community development acronym?
Hands.
Well, this is a little bit of a lean on to the Inside the Actor studio. And so how often are you mistaken for Sean Connery?
Well, when it does happen, I like it.
Who are your heroes in fiction?
Well, I love Flash Gordon.
Who are your heroes in real life?
Well, I should probably say Gandhi and Martin Luther King, but I think I'll say John Atlas, Phyllis Saloke, Wayne Meyer.
What is your favorite community development word?
Impact.
And your least favorite?
Something like liaison. What were you going to say about that? What did Robin say? Outcomes.
And also, what is your favorite curse word?
Jerk off.
Beep. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, musician.
And maybe other folks have too. That community development, in a lot of different ways, moved away from organizing. And it's interesting that you haven't. And I'll be interested to hear how this young group, if you are thinking about keeping it going, can you talk about how you keep it going?
Actually, in answer to your question, there's always a tension between the community development and the advocacy, between the advocacy and organizing and the community development. Because we're very dependent on government for whatever, just for building permits, the simplest thing, or certificate of occupancy, or zoning, or all kinds of stuff. And so, if you're associated with making their lives miserable, this old partnership goes out the door.
Another movement I'm familiar with that has a lot of headway in New Jersey around regionalism and not constructing affordable housing in communities that already has a lot of affordable housing. And do you think, are these movements reconcilable? Do you think that there's, are they oppositional? Can they work together in any way?
I've tried not to be an affordable housing organization. So HANDS is really about neighborhoods. The neighborhoods we work in have lots of affordable housing, but by that I don't mean subsidized housing. I mean, they're just more affordable than other places. The problem is, would you choose to live there? Do you want to raise a family there? So my idea is that we want those neighborhoods to remain affordable and be places where you want to raise your family. So when I think about community development, you know, and maybe I'm too narrow on this, I think about the urban neighborhood-based organizations. And regional equity, I think, is a really important thing. And I wish we had a more powerful voice for regional equity, because there's too great a divide between the city and the suburbs. So I don't know if that answers your question at all, but that's, I mean, that's a topic for another long discussion, honestly.
I live in Rahway, and they're really into, you know, using the arts to redevelop the city. Mm-hmm. And I've recently become overly vocal at the redevelopment agency meetings, and they're really into, you know, having small little art galleries with the wine and all that stuff. And I'm totally not
Chardonnay?
into it. Of course. I'm totally not into it. I don't really think it's working very well. I'm just not very into it. But what do you think about, I know you did the Valley Arts District, and how can you do redevelopment via the arts in a good way that spurs community organizing? And then,
I mean, we've been very intentional about it, which is why we created the Community Arts Organization. So we want the Community Arts Organization, Valley Arts, to really drive the vision of bringing the culture and expression. You know, the great thing about the arts is that it's all about expression. So the arts can be a form of community organizing. You know, I mean, we have a youth program where young artists have, you know, they've made their own creations. And those creations are songs and music and performance, and they're T-shirts and banners and posters and skateboard decks and so, you know, it's the richest form in a way of community organizing. But the youth have also begun to talk to us about the community, and it's not so easy to tap into that, and we often lose sight of that. I do, right? But anyhow, I think if you concentrate on that, at least this is what I've learned, and I've really learned it the hard way, because I thought I was absolutely sure about how this arts district ought to go, and I learned so much along the way. But it's clear to me you need avenues for people to participate and define that, and you need to give them voice. You know, you can't rely on a blue ribbon commission.
In the New York Times about redevelopment in what they call a blighted neighborhood in Philadelphia, and they were talking about various building projects, and the challenge was that the people in the neighborhood needed jobs and how to really do jobs development. And I was curious if you have any thoughts about kind of the link between what HANDS has been doing and jobs development.
One of the things we've done is we've tried to do this commercial and mixed use development to help revive both the tax base and the job base. And I'm proud to say, when these two projects that we kicked off just this month, when they get up and running, we will have created 118 full-time jobs in our commercial and mixed-use spaces. So these are spaces that were vacant and disused and not used and abandoned and eyesores. The other thing is that in the redevelopment planning, we help to save and retain 2 neighborhood employers that together employ 90-some employees. Now, they'll be part of a mostly residential neighborhood. They'll be right in the arts district. But, I mean, there's no future in kicking 95 jobs out of your community. But going beyond that, I don't know the answer. I know how important it is. But I want to figure. Actually, you and I have talked about that, and we want to figure out how to do that more.
Tonight, in a couple of hours, the president's going to be giving the State of the Union address, and so many of the things that you're talking about on a local level, we're facing as a nation. So, is there anything in particular, like on a national level, that you would be helpful for him to advocate or to say that would make it easier for?
Absolutely.
Right? What would that be?
I'll buy you a drink later, by the way. I think he should say, I'm going to round up the people on Wall Street who destroyed the economy, and I'm going to put them in jail. I find it outrageous that the Democrats don't own the populist anger in this country. I mean, after destroying the economy, give me a break. So, just a thought.
One more. Okay.
Where do you see hands 10 years from now?
Well, they'll probably have a new executive director. I don't know. I've got we've got this 5-year plan. The 5-year plan. 5-year plan is to create the institutions and the real estate that houses the future of the urban village of the 21st century, particularly in the Valley and in the heart of Orange, where we did our second neighborhood comprehensive plan. I want to link to stronger organizations like CAPSI. I think that's you're going to see. That's you heard it here first. That's the wave of the community development future. I'm positive of it. But if we don't create the advocacy behind the work of good organizations like HANDS, connected to stronger real estate organizations like CAPSI, and connected to advocacy statewide, and our impact will be limited. But I want to do more of what we're doing. You're part of the Garden State Urban Farms, which has been just such an exciting addition to the neighborhood. I want to see more, really creative and exciting projects grow up in our real estate that we are pledged to keep affordable for the long haul. That would suit me.
All right. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.